about speaking about places where good innovation thrives. I have written a book about the program that involve employees, what we call entrepreneur or corporate entrepreneur. It's called the Entrepreneur Factory. I will say a word about it. It's one of the lesson learned I would like to share with you. So as I said, two parts: learning from innovation initiative conducted at Orange, 3 innovation initiatives, and then a framework to design an innovation organization that can scale. First program, it's about open innovation. As we say, innovation is like a parachute. It works better when it's open. So Orange has understood that and defined devices to collaborate with external partners. That starts with the learning expedition, knowing how others are doing innovation, sharing ideas. And Karina kindly mentioned the award I got at ISPM. Actually, I got it for this platform, Imagine with Orange, which is a crowd innovation platform, sharing ideas with internet users from all over the world. Other devices are hackathon, solution platform, sharing API through the Orange developer platform, so letting developers and startups accelerate their business thanks to API. Corporate acceleration. We have a network of 17 Orange Fab in 17 locations where we welcome startups for a 3-month period, and we help them connect with the business within Orange. As it is a very large company, over 150,000 employees at Orange, present in 30 countries. Sometimes it's difficult for a startup to knock at the right door. And last device, it's a capital investment device, which is the Orange Ventures Fund. So what I've learned from this different program, I was not involved in all this program, but when I share lesson learned with the other managers of this program, is that open innovation can only start if we define explicit shared goals between the partner and ourselves. It seems very basic, but if you ask the startup to write down their goals, if you ask the Orange manager to write down his goals, well, sometimes they don't intersect at all. So it's not worth starting a collaboration. So you have to find an intersection, and in intersection is the shared goals. Based on this, you can start, sparkle, implement, develop trust, which is really the foundation of open innovation, because open innovation basically is about sharing knowledge, making some knowledge explicit to someone else. And for this, of course, you rely very much on trust. So first lesson, sharing goals with your partners. I've designed a slide to help startup find out how to cooperate with innovative corporation. So I will not go through it, but in this slide you find back this common interest agreement that you can materialize through a deal memo, which represents the shared goals I have just mentioned. Second program is about open innovation with employees. So it's about empowering employees on innovation. So I mentioned the book I have designed, and I've designed this book because I was meeting with other innovation and entrepreneurship manager, and I realized after a few meetings that I kept saying the same things. I kept mentioning the same 10 steps to build an innovation program. starting from defining your value proposition to attract employees, defining the incubation process for the ideas, involving a sponsor, business unit, and so on. And so I said to myself, let's write down these 10 steps, and maybe it will make a guide, a practical guide to design an innovation program. And finally, it it ended up with a book. In addition to this 10 step, I did 20 entrepreneur stories, which are really interesting because it shows how different the business created by the entrepreneur can be from one company to another one. And it shows also the personal development of this entrepreneur. So there are 10 steps. If there is one specific I would like to stress on, it's the second lesson. It's the involvement of the sponsor and the business unit, very upstream. That is to say, when you start the program, when you start designing the program, because this way you can secure the downstream achievement of the innovative project. You can secure a landing place for your plane, basically. Of course, not entrepreneurship program are oriented internally. Some entrepreneurship program value proposition or objective is like a startup studio. It's to build a startup that goes out of the corporation. But I would say 80–85% of the entrepreneurship program, their goal is to build innovative projects that will then further commercialized by the corporation. So if you want this commercialization, distribution part to work well, this upstream involvement of the business unit is very important. And it's like a couple relationship. You have to make it live along the project. So you have to have a regular meeting with the business unit to ensure the liaison, to ensure that there is a landing for your project. And you have to consider that it comes on top of the daily work of the business unit. So it's an additional work. That's how they see innovation at the beginning. So if you figure out how innovation can solve a problem for them, a problem of competition, a problem of enriching the services for users, a problem of loyalty of the users, and so on, then this cooperation will be much facilitated. Third program I would like to stress on is the one I'm currently involved in, and I will spend a little more time than on the two previous one. It's called local innovation. The purpose of local innovation is to develop agility and to be more relevant, because local innovation is very close to the end users, sticking to local specificities. For local innovation, our footprint is Africa, the 20 countries where we operate in Africa and Middle East. And we leverage, obviously, the local innovation ecosystem, mainly startup. We leverage to feed our innovative ideas, the ideas of the business unit and the employees. We apply lean innovation process, design thinking, and lean startup. Basically, the message is, once we have an idea, a value proposition, let's get out of the building and confront it with the end users, with the target users. And last, as there is a strong centralized global innovation at Orange, we try to figure out how we can wisely articulate local with global innovation, and I will say a word about it right now. Taking the example of some global platforms that have been centrally developed, like the mobile money platform that lets users of the mobile networks transfer money through their mobile, cash in and cash out money without any bank account. It's a huge success in Africa. And so almost the 20 countries where Orange operate have launched this mobile money operation locally in their country. And obviously the needs from their users are different from one country to another one. So at the level of the central platform of mobile money, there has been some freedom given to the countries to develop local features. So they have the possibility to build on top of the central platform local features that clearly are tailored for their local market. And second idea, which is great, is that one country, for example, Morocco, sees one feature developed by Mali, which is interesting also for their market. They can just basically copy and paste the feature at their local level and roll it out for their own country. So first, the central platform allows customization, creating value on top of the platform with local features. Second, the central platform facilitates propagation, replication of one success story to the other countries. Also, what we are trying with this local innovation, the proximity with the users, is to really find out innovation that can transform people's lives. I gave the example of Orange Money. So it's a success for Orange. We have 50 million subscribers of Orange Money. Not all of them are active users, but at least it's a large portfolio. And now you can cash in, cash out. This is a small Orange mobile money agent that you see on the picture on the right. So it's really basic. You can cash in, cash out money, transfer money, but you can also pay your bills, and you can also pay merchant and also e-commerce with a mobile money service. Another example of a service that makes an impact on people's life, it's Sansa. It's a smartphone. To bridge the digital divide in Africa, you need connection, but you need also an appropriate mobile phone. And Sansa is a smartphone that we have developed with Google that comes with a very affordable price of $25. So to make this local innovation work, we have first define a process that each country could initiate locally. Each innovation manager could initiate in its own country, in the 20 countries I have mentioned. And so we made a small group of 4 to 5 countries, and together we defined this process in 2 main steps. The first one is exploration. Basically, it's about collecting ideas, exploring these ideas, exploring the potential of these ideas through a business model canvas, illustrating, materializing the idea through a mock-up, a digital customer journey on a mobile, because most of our services end up on a mobile interface. So exploration is the first step, and they leverage innovative ideas from the local business unit and the employees. And for this, usually they build a kind of innovation community or innovation committee that initiates this idea collection. Once we have the idea and evaluated the potential of the idea and designed some mock-up, we or the innovation manager locally start short experiments, that is to say, confronting the idea, testing the value proposition with the target users, whether it's consumers or whether it's a B2B business, it's a small enterprise or large enterprise that are targeted. And this, at this level, he exploits all the point of contact that we may have naturally with our customers. And for example, many consumers come to our boutique and to the headquarters for testing new services. So we try to incorporate into this visit some feedback on the value proposition, on the innovative ideas that have been identified. Once he has collected the insight, they discuss within the innovation committee, with the business unit that is the sponsor for this idea, because the project will land in this business unit. It will make an impact for this business unit. And they decide which project go to exploitation. And at this level, the innovation manager is no more, I would say, managing the process. The project is handed over to the business unit that has been involved from the beginning. And this business unit or this internal department is responsible for delivery and scale up. Then if the project is a success story, we try to create desire from other countries to replicate this project in their own countries. So what is important in this program for me is that we had to build an innovation identity for these 20 countries. The innovation manager role was quite new. And so we decided to build this innovation identity based on ideation, of course, but really short experiment, collecting insight from the user, proximity from the users, and quantitatively, if we initiate this process once per semester, our objective is to collect and test 5 innovative solutions per semester, 10 per year. And if we have the 20 countries moving on this innovation process, that would make 200 creative solutions tested per year. They are not developed, they are not ready to go to the market, but at least it's 200 creative solutions that can be picked up by the business unit and become a project. That was the choice to work on this large quantity rather than allocating the innovation manager on one big project from that he would be managing from A to Z during the whole year. But, and I'm not at the end of my presentation to be on time, but I realized I've been doing this for 1.5 years, almost 2 years. I realized that innovation process is not enough. Innovation process is like the factory, which is all set with the machine, production machine, but you need the raw material to make the factory produce something. And what I call the raw material with innovation is the innovation culture. So we build this channel, Radio Innovation, where we invite external speakers that develop innovation in Africa and Middle East. And they share their experience with the 20 innovation managers I have mentioned. We also invite startups that share how they do business in Africa and Middle East. We started with bi-monthly radio innovation, and now the radio innovation call, it's a video call, is a weekly one, because we have both demand and we have also the possibility to identify a lot of people doing innovation in Africa that are okay to share their experience with the Orange people and possibly connect to make business with Orange. So that's a success. That's our raw material. I will not go through the local innovation achievement, but we try to celebrate the best project. I will go through to the last slide, which is the framework I suggest based on this experience, on the 3 lessons I have shared with you. So on the one hand, there is what I call the process part, having in mind the test and learn approach, confronting your idea with user, finding out the problem that you want to solve, and doing this in short cycles is really at the basis of the innovation process. Second, this is one lesson I mentioned with the collaboration of the startup. Try to have in mind that you can incorporate collaboration within the development of this innovation. And so to make it work, define shared goals, formalize your goals for this innovation, and also use modular design at the basis of your innovation, the API that can let other build new features on top of your platform, like with the Orange Money example. The third item of innovation process, I did not address it today yet, it's the scaling up. What I've been through with the different example is really the early stage of innovation, identifying an idea, building a first project, going to product market fit. So it's like navigating along the coast. But when you want to scale up, you want to move from a project with 10 people to a project with 100 people. You want to be able to address millions of customers. It's like crossing the Atlantic. Obviously, you need to do some refinement of your boat before you do that. And on the left side, you've understood that my mantra is to mix innovation process with innovation culture, innovation organization with innovation culture. So I have 3 items about the culture: empowerment that I mentioned with entrepreneurship, crossing top-down support with upstream, with bottom-up initiative, what I call upstream aspiration. And last, encouraging boldness. In other words, learning also that failure is part of the innovation portfolio, and learning how to turn setback into something that can be useful for the next project. So, in order to check if your innovation organization is in line with different with the previous item I mentioned, I've shared on the internet a short assessment that you can do. It fares across 10 key areas, and you have a question to answer that will rate your where you are, and at the end of the questionnaire, it will show you this graphical display and a few advices according to each key of the 10 key area. Thank you for your attention. You can find more on my blog. Don't hesitate to connect on LinkedIn. I've been quite fast, so if you have questions, don't hesitate to connect. I'll be very happy to interact. And these are my key takeaways for innovators people: finding out the problem, iterating, flexibility, and the last one maybe is when you start an innovation program, before looking for success, look for integration. It's not exactly the same thing, and this way it will unleash internal energies and allies on your innovation program. Thank you very much.
Wonderful innovation insights. Do you want to maybe open the screen and we can open it up to everyone? And we'll have a rapid fire exchange. I know we have less than 10 minutes, and I'm certain we have lots of questions. So I'll hand it over to you, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see Jörg's got his hand up.
Yep. So thanks, Nicolas. That was quite impressive. So as I have a very personal question, as I'm starting to work in a project in Africa. So my question to you is, so how is it to work with the stakeholders on the ground? And I see that from what I see at the moment is, for me personally, there's a lot to learn in terms of understanding the alignment. I mean, so if we speak about the process you presented, so I think in the context of business schools or organizational consultancy, so it's pretty well known. So I mean, not well known, but people can resonate to the process and the ideas. But I mean, so I learn at the moment quite a lot that I have to think differently, openly. So if you work in a different country with a different culture, and therefore I would really like to understand more how you interact with your target group on the ground.
Well, I think that the luck I have is that I don't have one country, I have 20 of them. And so in a group of 20 people, a little bit more because for some countries there are more than one innovation manager. The importance is not to try to convince everyone. The importance is to find out the leaders. And depending on the different topics, I have different leaders. So we have some innovation thematic like 100% digital offering or new features on mobile money and so on. And I always try to identify which countries are the most interested by the topic and let them run before the rest of the group that will be followers. Then the second item, I would say that innovation is still quite unknown in our entities at Orange. These entities are very much focused on delivering the mobile service, serving our customers, invoicing the customers, answering to the question, and so on. And so it's always difficult for the innovation manager to get some time from the different business units to participate to the innovation process. So to fight this, we try to connect very much innovation with business, and to show that the innovation project that we conduct, the one that I did not go through, there were 2 or 3 slides about our local innovation project, but we try to show that this innovation project are very much impacting the business, that innovation is not about post-it and ideation, it's really about developing business. That's also the reason why we organize this this celebration of the project, so that the innovation manager can be highlighted, his project can be highlighted and shared with the other business unit and countries. And last element, it's maybe more specific to Africa than to Middle East. You know, innovation in a way is trying to change the future, or to make the future that you want to see happen. So you have a view in the future, obviously. With several of my African stakeholders, they don't really have that. They live every day as it comes. And so, for example, when I send them a message, for example, I send you a message, Jörg, I tell you, can we meet soon, Jörg? You will tell me, okay, next week on Monday or on Friday or whatever. When I send such a message to my African stakeholder, or some of them, they tell me, okay, I'm free, call me. Because for them, it's today, it's happening today. There is no really tomorrow. So
Thank you.
That's an interesting cultural difference.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for those insights, Nicolas. I can see that we have some of our hands up, but I think we've reached the end of our time. I think perhaps, Nicolas, you were saying people could maybe contact you on LinkedIn if they have burning questions. But that just leaves me to say thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you in particular, Nicolas, for presenting. That was a hugely interesting presentation. And yeah, we hope to see you all at our meeting next month.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Nicolas. Thanks to everybody.
Thank you.